Namaste, namaste, and welcome to Monday Midday Chair Yoga. And today we are just going to take things nice and gentle to start, but we're going to work towards really focusing on balance. And all of the things that we've been doing for our core recently will help us in that balance. So I've got my feet up on blocks, and blocks or something else similarly light that you can pick up from the floor will be used later in the class. But for now, we're going to sit tall. If you are sitting in your seat, then making sure that you're not sitting and leaning back in it, that you're sitting nice and upright, pressing your feet down towards the floor just gently to engage with the legs and find that lift in the center. Let your head sit on top of your shoulders, arms rest wherever is comfortable, and simply closing your eyes or gazing gently downward. Take this moment to step away from everything else that's been going on in your day, stepping into the time and space that you have for yoga. Notice how your body feels in this moment. Notice any areas of the body that feel perhaps a little uncomfortable or tense or stiff. See if you can gently ease some of that tension by simply noticing it and softening. And throughout the class, working with compassion anywhere your body just needs that extra TLC. Notice at least one part of your body that feels peaceful, quiet, spacious, and at ease. Allow that sense of ease to ripple out, maybe softening the features of the face and the shoulders. Maybe creating an additional sense of lightness and calmness. Draw your awareness now to your breath and notice your natural spontaneous breath. Notice the sensations from the gentle ebb and flow of the breath, cool as the breath comes in, warm as the breath leaves the body. Notice the parts of your body that move as you breathe. When you're ready, you can gently deepen your breath. As you breathe in, filling the whole of the torso, the sides, the back, the chest. As you breathe out long and slow and deep, maybe gently engaging across the navel to breathe out completely. Breathing in with a soft belly into the rib cage, the collarbones, the shoulder blades. Let the breath lift you tall. Breathing out long and slow and deep and engaging across the belly muscles to breathe out completely. Taking a few more breaths like this. Have that sense of drawing prana into the body as you breathe in and releasing anything that you need to let go of as you breathe out. At the end of your next exhalation, simply allow the breath to find its natural rhythm and draw your chin gently down towards your chest. Without forcing the head down, just let it get to wherever is comfortable. Feel that gentle length. And then from here, rolling the right ear towards the right shoulder and the chin back to the chest and left ear to left shoulder and chin to chest. As you go from side to side, Just exploring the feelings in the body, the connections between the movements of the head, sides, the back, the chest, the jaw. If you would like to, if it feels like the right thing to do, you can roll your head in circles, lifting the chin between the two shoulders. Trying to focus on a sense of lifting upwards rather than releasing backwards. Don't worry too much if you have lots of crunchy grinding sounds. Move slowly and with care. And then going the opposite way. It's only with practice and the right kind of support that those crunchy grindy sounds will go away. Notice that sensation underneath the chin as you lift the chin, the connections into the top of the chest, and allow your chin to rest back to your chest whenever you're ready. Smile to yourself and bring your head to an upright position, and then freeing the arms, just rolling the shoulders a few times, making sure that we haven't left any tension in the back of the shoulders there. We're going both directions. Fantastic stuff. Very good. So we started at the head. We may as well continue as we go. So we're going to reach the arms nice and wide and then bring the palms of the hands together, round through the spine, chin to chest, maybe scoop the belly in a little, and then sit tall, just taking the arms out to the side again. But as they come behind the body or to the sides of the body, turning the palms upwards. Rounding through the spine, palms together, chin to chest. And then sitting tall, turning the palms upwards, maybe lifting your chin, finding that space between the shoulder blades really active. Rounding through the spine, chin to chest. Sitting tall, pressing into the feet, opening the chest, turning the palms upwards, lifting your chin. One more like this, rounding through the spine. And then sitting tall, opening the front of the body. When you're ready, bring your head back to neutral. Just float the arms to the sides. Wriggle through the shoulders. Oh, feels so good. And the opposite way as well. Very nice. We're going to take our feet a little bit wider here. If you want to take your feet to the floor, that's great. We sit just a touch further onto the seat. So we've got a little bit of support into the upper thighs as well as just across the buttocks. And then really tall, we're going to rest our hands wherever is comfortable and stir the torso around in a circle. So we're just making little circles. It's as if we had a pen on top of the head and we're drawing a circle on the ceiling. And when you've done a few in this direction, you might like to just give a little bit more with the shoulders and with the neck. If it feels good to do that, bringing the head down as you come forward, the head up as you move backwards, taking the left shoulder towards the right knee, right shoulder to left knee. Just finding a bit more movement through the torso, nice and firm in the belly, nice and firm with the legs as well. Let's do one more in this direction. And then we can start small going in the opposite direction. So just small. It might feel quite different to do it on this side. Maybe it doesn't. That's okay too. When you've done a few, you're building up to a more expressive movement. You might like to engage with the shoulders and the neck, just so nothing is held rigid. The neck behaves like an extension of the spine. And we're going to do about 3 more in this direction. You can go slower if it feels good to go slower. Last one. As you come to upright, just finishing there, and for a moment bringing yourself back to center, just giving yourself the opportunity for a little stillness so we notice the effect of our practice, and also we can release any dizzy feelings, rolling the shoulders again. And we're going to keep the feet nice and wide And here, do a little side-to-side action. So we're going to reach the left hand down and the right arm up as we go over to the left, and then right hand down, left arm up as we go over to the right. In the center, we want to be active in the belly muscles and pressing into the feet, and try to move sideways. So we want to avoid rounding through the back, just moving to the side. And it doesn't matter where you get to, just going sideways. Very nice. The next time you come down on your right side, just leave your right arm or hand down on your right thigh, and we will reach the left arm up. Now, if your arm has different kinds of movement, you might just rest that hand onto your hip instead. That's perfectly acceptable. And we're going to roll the left shoulder backwards to open the chest. We want to lift in the belly muscles, maybe use a little bit of leverage with the right hand. And then roll the left shoulder forward, maybe looking down slightly, maybe reaching the arm across the body. So we get this movement through the upper back, rolling open and then closed from this sideways bend. One more. Closed. We're going to take the left arm down across the body to the right knee, and then hands on knees, no, to the left knee even, hands on knees, rolling the shoulders towards each other. Open your chest, and we just sway the chest from side to side. Nice waving, snaking movement. Just wriggling those shoulder blades across the upper back to get a little massage there. And then we'll sit all the way upright, take the arms wide, and do another few side bends to each side, pressing into the feet, firm in the belly muscles, just finding that side to side action. The next time your left hand comes down on the left side, just resting the hand or arm onto your thigh, reaching the right arm up and over. And then here we're gently taking the right shoulder back to open the chest, and then rolling the right shoulder forward to wriggle ourselves down towards the floor, I guess. Opening back and open. You might press into your left hand, nice and firm across the belly as you roll forwards. This spiraling action through the upper body. And this time, as the right arm comes down, we'll take it across the body to the right knee, again pressing into the hands, rolling the shoulder blades to open the chest. And we'll come down as low as feels comfortable, maybe around about almost getting towards the thighs. And again, do a gentle sway of the chest from side to side. We want to keep that chest open by imagining we've got something between the shoulder blades. We're just trying to hold it in place. And then in the center, we're going to slide the hands down the legs to come into a forward bend. Relax the back of the neck. And if it's comfortable here, you might gently nod the head or gently turn the head slowly from side to side, whichever feels good or feels best. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And then hands can slide back up to the knees, pressing into the hands, scoop the belly in, just angling from the hips up to an upright position again. Super stuff. We're going to bring our feet back towards each other so that the thighs and knees are pressed close together. And then again, sitting tall, taking the arms wide, we're twisting to the right. Take the left hand across the body, the right hand behind. Roll the shoulder blades down to open your chest and gently move into this twist, maybe turning your head a little to the right. Keeping the shoulders moving down away from the ears, lifting in the belly muscles. Hold for a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And then we'll gently unwind our head first towards the center, and then the rest of the body cross to the left and back to center. In the center, sitting tall, preparing with the arms wide, we'll twist to the left, right hand to the left knee, left hand behind the body, and then just using that gentle leverage of the arms to move into your twist, maybe turning your head to the left, letting your shoulders settle down, scooping the belly inwards and upwards, taking some deep breaths here. Oh, my tummy's just started to rumble. I hope it's not loud enough for you guys to hear. When you're ready, unwind the head first, turning towards the center again. Release the hands, unwind, turn a little to the right, and back to neutral. Wriggle anything that needs wriggling. And we're going to take our feet off these blocks, just pop them underneath. Oh no, tell you what, I'm going to pop them to one side. That's better. And then we'll take our awareness into our feet, sitting towards the edge of your seat so that you've got a little bit more purchase on the floor. We want to start by wiggling the toes around. So just finding almost like you're individually releasing them up and down, like spirit fingers, but with your toes. And then we're going to spread the toes out and scrunch them up a little bit. Spread and scrunch, spread and scrunch. One more, spread and scrunch. Take your weight onto your toes, lifting your heels up, and then take your heels to the floor, lifting the toes up. Just rocking from front to back. For those who feel comfortable, you can rock onto the ball of your foot, onto the tip of your foot if you want, and then take the heels down. You don't have to, that's just if you want to. Very good. Let's do one more like that. Then, keeping the balls of the feet on the floor, we're going to roll the big toes towards each other, lifting the little toes off the floor, and then roll across the foot to the little toe, lifting the big toes off the floor. So we want to keep the knees quite still as we turn through the foot and the ankle to make this movement. It's really, really good if you have problems with plantar fasciitis or with the arches in your feet, if you wear foot supports in your shoes, then this action really helps us to mobilize the foot again. The foot is, like the hands, made up of lots of little bones. And when they get stuck and stiff and rigid, that's when we have problems. So keeping them mobile is what we're all about. This is a little bit like that exercise we do when we walk around the room as well. When you're ready, you can allow the feet to rest to the floor, and we'll do alternate sides. So lifting the toes of the right foot, the heel of the left, and then going to the opposite side. So you've always got one set of toes lifted and one heel lifted on the opposite side. Aces. I've had a bit of a struggle with verbal communications today. My words don't seem to be quite as fluent as normal. So just going side to side. Please bear with me. Very good. And then one more to release the feet flat down to the floor. We're going to bring the feet all the way together and then just scissor toes out, heels out, toes out, heels out, heels in, toes in, heels in, toes in. And then keep going backwards and forwards like this so that you feel a little bit of action across your hips as well. Just getting used to moving the feet around. You can go more slowly if slow and steady suits you better. One more time, out and in. Really activating and energizing the legs. Aces. Sit back in your seat so that your thighs are nice and supported. Maybe your feet are a little bit free from the floor. And you can just give your legs a little kick here. Check that you're not going to kick anything underneath your seat. That would not be good. And then lifting both legs up in front of you. They don't have to be super high, but a little bit from the floor so you can circle the ankles. And you can do ankle circles in the same direction, opposite directions. It doesn't matter because we're going to change and go the opposite way anyway. Very nice. And then just a gentle sort of point with the legs a little bit longer, flex with the knees bent. Point the toes, extend through the legs, flex the knees bent. Try to avoid cramping by not pressing right to your fullest extent of movement. If that causes cramp, if it doesn't, then you can extend all you like. Let's do two more. Pointing and flexing, both ankles and knees, pointing and flexing. And then as the legs come back towards the body, just swaying the feet from side to side. Again, you get that sense of movement into the hips a little bit here. And then circling. So the soles of the feet making a circle on the floor and going the opposite way as well. Just getting some activity going in those thighs. Very nice. When you're ready, you can come to the front of your seat again. You just want to have enough of your buttocks and upper thighs on the chair that would give you good purchase, because we're going to do our gentle stand and float, sit back down, and then sit to stands. So the feet are underneath the knees, not further ahead, not further behind, so that we have got the best opportunity to draw on strength in the legs. Firm in the belly, reaching your hands forward as you just float your buttocks off the seat, weight into the legs, and then relax back down again. So we just angle our weight slightly forward into the feet to float and release. Firm in the belly, reaching the hands forward helps us with that forward momentum, and release. Let's do 2 more like this. Reaching forward and release. This time we're going to reach forward and then press into the legs to stand all the way tall. Open the arms wide, maybe even let the hips come forward a little bit, maybe lift the chest, and then coming back the way, standing tall, reaching the hands forward, reach the tailbone, the buttocks backwards, bend from the knees, and lightly kiss the buttocks to the seat. Sitting tall. Same thing, all the way up, all the way down. Reaching forward to float first, then press into the legs to stand all the way tall, opening your chest, and then reaching the arms forward, extending through your tailbone, bending your knees to lightly sit down. 1 more, this time we'll stay standing when we stand, floating first, then standing all the way tall, and then floating the arms down to the side, rolling through the shoulders, just giving yourself the opportunity to adjust to being upright rather than seated, and then we will move again. I'm going to move my chair to one side. You might like to just step a little bit forward of your seat. And we'll do some Kati Chakrasana now we're upstanding. So remember, if at any stage you would prefer to be seated, please be seated. If you need a little hold on anywhere, then that's okay too. Here we're with the feet wide and the knees a little bit soft. We're just going to take the weight to the left and then to the right, so that we feel that we almost take the right foot off the floor, almost take the left foot off the floor. Just going side to side, playing with the weight over our feet. And when you're ready, try to find center where your 2 feet feel like they're giving the same amount of support. And then here we're standing tall with the belly muscles are gently lifted and gently twisting from side to side. We just want to let the arms really relax, the shoulders be nice and relaxed as well. Pressing gently into the feet. You might like to spend a few moments doing this without moving the hips, so that you create a little bit more stability and centering across the middle of the body. It helps us to really engage in the muscles down the sides of the body, using the legs, the buttocks, the belly muscles as well, of course. And when you're ready, you might like to pivot on your toes, so we relax a little bit some of that effort. And instead of holding to center, we're moving a little bit more. And if you wish to, you can add a light bend of the knees, bounce and twist, bounce and twist. That might mean slowing your movements down a little, that's okay. Then you might like to touch the opposite shoulder in front of you and the opposite hip behind, all the while engaging those belly muscles. When you're ready, we're going to turn this into a sideways motion. So reach the arms across the body, still bouncing the knees and reaching the arms to the opposite side, pointing the foot away. So we create a diagonal line across the body, nice and slow. For those who are comfortable, you might move that pointed foot back a little, so that you create more of an opportunity to open the front of the body, and then we close it as we bend and then open on the other side. For those who find balance is not a challenge, you might like to lift that back foot from the floor. but that's just a nice to have. You can do any of these variations. Let's do 2 more to each side. And then we're going to bring the feet to steadiness and just sway the arms back down to center and bring ourselves to stillness. Feel the effect of your practice. So the increased heart rate, your increased breath rate, a sense of warmth, a sense of movement, of energy, whatever it is, just being aware of it. And we'll take a cleansing breath now, breathing in, taking the arms around the body and up. And breathing out as we draw the palms down to the center of the chest. Very nice. Relax the arms down to the side. This next practice we can do holding onto a chair or a wall if it feels good to do that. Because we're working on a little bit of balance here. So we're going to step forward onto the right foot. So the left foot is behind. We don't want it directly behind the right leg because that makes it really hard to balance. So we still want the feet to be around about hip width apart. Could be slightly wider even still. And then we want to settle our weight between the front and the back foot. So it helps to move your weight forwards and backwards a few times so that when you come to center, you can feel the weight distributed evenly, just as we did before Piti Chakrasana side to side. We're going to turn the left palm forward as if we were holding a ball and we were going to do an underarm swing or an underarm throw, and that's all we're doing. So the legs, there's softness in the knees, there's a firmness across the belly, and we're just swinging that left arm backwards and forwards. Allow the arm to be heavy. So you can imagine that it's like a rope with a big knot at the end. And we want that sense of softness across the back of the body a little bit as we swing forwards and engagement as we swing the arm backwards. If it feels comfortable, you can transfer your weight across your feet as you go backwards and forwards. And you might find that that's too much. You might need to hold on to balance as you do that. That's okay. It's okay to do it with the feet absolutely still. If you're finding this is okay, you might use your head and look at your hand as it goes behind you. Nice and firm in the belly. And that just frees the neck, makes it a much more fluid movement. Playing with this balance. Let's do 2 more. And then just bringing the feet to stillness, allow your arm to sway back towards the center and step onto both feet. Feel the difference between the 2 sides of the body. Wriggle anything that needs wriggling. And then we can step back with the right foot, forward with the left foot, just making sure that the feet are still hip width apart and that we feel we can move the weight forward into the left foot, back into the right foot a few times. So we feel when we come to center that the weight is evenly distributed across those 2 feet. Turn the right palm forward and just begin swinging the arm. And it's nice and loose and heavy. And we're creating a little bit of traction across the shoulder joint here, also encouraging those muscles behind the upper back to engage in a way that helps to support our best posture. If it feels comfortable, you might rock your weight backwards and forwards as your hand goes backwards and forwards. And you can hold on to a chair or the wall for support if that feels like it would be a useful thing to do. Never put yourself in jeopardy of falling over if you've got the opportunity to support. Nice and firm across the belly. If it feels good, then you can look to the back hand as it goes behind you. Just gentle following of the movement with the head, keeping everything loose. Nice and firm in the belly. Let's do 2 more of these. And then bringing your feet to stillness, sway your arm back to center, and then step forward onto both feet. Feel the difference between the 2 sides of the body. Really good. Fantastic stuff, everyone. So let us come now to use our chairs, and we're going to come up and down onto our tiptoes. So we're still really focused on the feet and the distribution of weight across the feet and the strength that we can draw on in the legs in general. So with your fingertip touch on your chair, holding on more if you need to, but if you can keep it a fingertip touch, then doing so. Nice and firm in the belly, feet about hip width apart, and using a point of focus ahead of you that's not moving, so that you can keep this extended upright position and also use that to help you balance. We're going to float up onto our tiptoes, lifting the heels as high as feels comfortable, and then float the heels down and just land back on our feet. Nice and gentle, so not thumping up and down either. Lifting gently up onto tiptoes as high as you can go, keeping extending through the crown of the head, and then floating all the way down. Let's do one more like this, floating up and floating all the way down. Very good. Now we're going to use our left arm when we come up. So first, coming up, we're still switched on in this engaged belly area. We're going to reach the left arm up in a big circle around the body, maybe turning the head if it feels comfortable. You don't have to. And let that arm come all the way down to the side and back to fingertip touch. Release the heels down, this time softly bending the knees. That just eases out any tension held in the calves. We'll do the same thing, same arm. So coming up onto tiptoes, nice and firm in the belly, reaching the left arm up and over, same arm, same side, comes all the way around the body to touch the chair again and release the heels down, soft bend in the knees. Now we'll do two on the right side. Coming up using your point of focus and then reaching the right arm up and over, around behind the body if you can, following it with your head if you can, coming back to your fingertip touch, floating the heels down, bending the knees. One more just like that. Up onto tiptoes as high as you can, nice and firm in the belly, reaching the right arm all the way around the body. And then fingertip touch, floating the heels down, softly bending the knees. Very good. Give your legs a little bit of a shake out. And we're going to just give also the legs a little bit of a stretch out. So here, start right up close to your chair. So you're even touching your tummy or your hips to your chair, and then step your left foot back as far as it naturally goes. Doesn't really matter what distance it is, as long as it's useful distance. We don't want to overly square the hips anywhere, just let them fall wherever they're comfortable. And we're going to press the left heel down into the floor and bend the right knee at the same time. We want to feel a gentle stretch, not anything that's super intense. And it helps sometimes here to just gently tuck your tailbone under. If that feels good to you to do, that's not a problem at all. And you can pulse that front knee, bending a little deeper, coming out a little bit more as you choose, and just feel how that sensation changes in your back of the leg. When you're ready, taking the heel of the left foot off the floor, softening both knees, and just lightly, buoyantly stepping forward. Do the same thing on the right side. We're going to step the right foot back as far as it goes. And it doesn't matter how far apart it is. Here we're pressing the right heel down into the mat and bending the left knee at the same time. So we want to create that sense of length across the calf and a little bit on the Achilles perhaps. Tucking your tailbone under ever so slightly if it helps. And you can pulse with your front knee. So straightening it a little bit more, bending it a little deeper. Whatever works for you. If you prefer to hold stillness, you can hold stillness. No problem at all. When you're ready, you can peel the right heel off the floor, soften both knees, and lightly, buoyantly step your right foot forward. Awesome sauce. Take a moment here just to shake out the legs. We'll do a cleansing breath, and then we're going to come to do another exercise. So deep breath in, take the arms around the body and up, lift the chest, lift the chin. Deep breath out as you bring the hands down to the center of the chest. Awesome sauce, guys. So We are now going to come to work on just one foot at a time. Woo, exciting times. So hold on to your chair, or if you want to, hold yourself between two places, two chairs, a chair and a sofa, chair and a wall, whatever it might be. We're going to come up onto tiptoes with both feet. So firm in the belly, looking forward, coming up onto tiptoes, and then we're going to take the right foot off the floor and just tuck it behind the left foot, or just hold the foot a little bit higher up the leg. And then we're lowering the left heel nice and slowly to the floor. And then we're going to come all the way up again. Lowering the left heel nice and slowly to the floor. One more time, coming all the way up. This time, lowering the left heel to the floor. And as you do that, step onto both feet, take a little soft bend in the knees, and notice the effect between the two legs. So the left leg will feel really super engaged, and that's what we're after, really energized. Same thing on the right side, with first stand tall, belly lifted, eyes lifted, coming up onto both tiptoes, and then taking the left foot off the floor, either just tucking it behind the right ankle or holding it a little higher up if it feels comfortable, and then lowering slowly the right heel to the floor, and then coming slowly back up again onto your tiptoes. Slowly lowering the right heel to the floor. It's that control that really counts, coming slowly back up again. You don't get prizes for going quickly in yoga. Slowly lowering the right heel to the floor, and as you do so, step onto both feet, just give the knees a little soft bend, and notice now how it feels on both sides of the body. Hopefully, it feels awesome. So we are going to now take a block. So if you don't have a block, any sturdy book would do. And we're going to place the block underneath one foot and actually stand on it. So again, using the chair for support, we're standing now on, just using my right leg first because it's the one closest to the chair. If you want to do your left leg first, please feel free. And here we've got an opportunity with our left leg sort of dangles in space. So we can do a little bit of leg swinging here. Firm in the belly, standing nice and tall, which is all good. If you didn't have a block, you can still do this practice just on the floor, no problem at all. When you're ready, you can bring your legs back towards each other, back to center, and then we're just going to lift the left hip up and then lower the left hip down. So we're doing what's called a hip hinge, firm in the belly, lifting the left hip up as if you're hoiking that leg off the floor, and then lowering the foot down, up and down. Let's do two more, up and down, one more, up and down. And then stepping onto both feet, and just again noticing the kind of effort that's gone through the body on both sides. And you can swap to the other side. Now, I'm simply going to hold the chair on the same side and stand tall, but you might like to swap yourself around to the other side of your chair. With your right leg now dangling, or the opposite leg, just gently swinging the leg backwards and forwards. A little firmness in the belly here, nice open body, so you're standing as tall as you can, and just making use of the space. Normally we have to hoik the hip up a little bit to find the space between us and the floor if we're standing just on the floor. But here we don't need to. It's a little bit, even a little bit better for the hips, I'd say. When you're ready, you can bring your legs back together, and then we're lifting the right hip up and lowering the right hip down. Still firm in the center as we do that. Little lift and lower, lift and lower. Let's do a few more of these. Very good. You have to use some of your deeper core muscles to help here. We'll do two more. Very good. Then when you're ready, standing onto both feet, taking this opportunity to just feel the effect of your practice. And I think a downward facing dog here would be really, really useful. So we're going to take our hands to the back of the chair, walk the feet away, Soft bend in the knees, and imagine that you're sticking your tailbone back as far as you can, reaching it to touch something behind you as the knees are bent and the arms supported by the back of the chair. Press down gently into the hands. Engage through the center of the body, lifting in the belly muscles. Maybe sway your hips gently from side to side. Keeping your head either between your arms or above it, not below. And it helps if you want to turn your head from side to side sometimes. Very good. When you're ready, coming back to center, bending the knees a little deeper, looking towards your seat, walking yourself into stand upright, relaxing the arms, just giving a few shoulder rolls here. Aces. So now we're going to practice a little bit of one leg balancing. And we don't do this a lot in class. We do quite often with support. We're going to practice with support and without. So we'll do the right leg first. We're going to take our weight onto that side and just lift the left heel off the floor so the toes are on the floor, and then check what's happened in your body. Check that you haven't leaned into your right hip, that you've got your right hip centered over your right foot, and that you're lifting tall, engaging in the belly, engaging across the upper back as well. That's why we did all that work earlier. We're going to float the left knee up a little bit so the foot is completely off the floor. And then you can explore here if you're able to take your hands away from your support or not. It doesn't matter which it is, but using a point of focus ahead of you that's not moving, just spending some time balancing on one leg. See if you can just free your fingertips occasionally from your chair. You might like to use your arms for support. Any micro movements are useful. And then step onto both feet. And on both feet, just give your knees a bit of a bend and roll the hips in any direction that helps. Quite a nice thing to do. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. So we're taking our weight onto our left foot. Right heel is lifted. We're standing really tall, nice and firm in the belly, giving that centered gaze. And then just seeing if we can float the knee a little higher so the right foot is completely off the floor, and see if you can hold that without touching the chair, or perhaps just giving yourself the occasional freedom from touching your support, maybe using the arms for a bit of support as well. It really helps to think about lifting into the crown of your head to make your body light on your foot. All those micro movements are exactly what we want. And then step onto both feet and just take a moment to circle the hips or wiggle anything that needs wiggling. Quite a nice thing to do. So our final practice before we come towards the set chair for relaxation is to take a block and put it on the floor, so on its end, so it's nice and high. And we can do this, we'll do it once with the chair and then once without. We're going to take the weight onto our right foot and then firm the body, lifting the left heel slightly. And we're just going to lift the left leg back a little bit so that we can reach down and pick up that block and come back to the center. And then we'll reach down to put that block back on the floor. Left leg is lifted all of the time. And then step onto both feet. Give yourself a little wiggle. Same thing on the other side. So left foot is now the supportive foot. We're going to lift the right heel and stand really tall. Find that lift in the center of the body, and then lifting your right knee, just gently bending forward, lifting the right leg behind you to pick up your block or whatever it might be. It could be a cushion or something light, and then place that block back down again. And then take your right foot to the floor. So we'll do this one more time to each side, and you have the option of using support or trying balance without the chair. And it's okay to have it close by, or you might be close to a wall that you can use for support. Please do take care to be steady on your feet. So if this is something that you need to hold the chair for, keep holding the chair. Don't try without. If you're almost there on balance, you might like to give yourself the opportunity. So if you're holding the chair, hold the chair. If not, hands onto hips sometimes works. Stand onto your right foot, lift the left heel. Stand really tall, firm the belly, and then we're lifting the left foot backwards as we lean forwards to take hold of the block and come to an upright position. And then same thing in reverse, holding the chair or not, placing that block back down, and then standing onto both feet. Good job, guys. Same thing on the other side, holding the chair or not, stand tall, lifting the right heel, and then firm in the center, just lifting the right foot back behind you as you lean forward to pick up the block, come to upright, and then one more time to put the block down. I've wiggled there. And then come back to upright, stand onto both feet. That is the leg for me that is much harder to balance on. So when you're ready, you can just, in your upright position, we'll take a deep cleansing breath. Breathing in, arms around the body, lift the chest, lift the belly muscles. Breathing out, palms together at the center of the chest. Very well done. Holding on, just give your legs a little bit of a wiggle. You might like to here turn the tops of the feet towards the floor. I'm going to use this block because it's a little bit softer than the wooden floor here, just to lengthen out the front of the ankle. You don't have to do that. You can simply move your foot backwards and forwards over your toes if that helps. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side, either turning the top of the foot towards the floor, just pressing into the toes there a little bit, or rocking backwards and forwards over the toes so that you lengthen out the top of the foot and then go the opposite way. Very good. So we have concluded our upright standing part of the class, and we'll probably do a downward dog just before we come to sitting, because why not? So hands on your seat, walk your feet away, and again, nice and soft in the knees, extending the weight into the heels, extending the tailbone behind you, scooping the belly in, gently pressing down into the hands. Here, if it's comfortable, you might like to sway your hips from side to side, or simply straighten one leg and then the other, maybe turning to look under one shoulder and then the other, or you can hold stillness, of course. Whenever you're ready, you can press into the hands a little bit more, bend the knees deeper, walk towards your seat, and then make any preparations for relaxation. So you might like to have some blocks for underneath the feet like I do, or you might like, and you might like an extra layer. I'm certainly going to take that, and a blanket perhaps. Anything that feels good. If you've got the opportunity to put your chair up against the wall, you might also like to do that, because sometimes leaning your head against the wall above the chair back can be a nice thing to do as well. I like to wrap the blanket all the way around. And I'm just going to have a little sip of water to lubricate the throat. When you're ready, coming to sitting. And here we want to sit all the way back in our seat so that we've got support for the back of the body. And we can let go of some of the effort that we've made through class. And it's important to do that. So we don't want to just keep making effort and effort and effort. We need to balance that out with relaxation, with softness, with opportunities for length. So as you come to sitting, maybe you'd like to close your eyes. I would definitely encourage that. And we'll take a couple of deep breaths. We're going to breathe deeply in and sigh out. And repeat that 3 more times. Deep breath in. Let all of your effort go. A deep breath in. Let your muscles begin to relax. A deep breath in. Surrendering back and down into the chair and the floor. Allow your breath to find its natural rhythm and fall into quietness. Take your awareness into your forehead, feel it soften. that space between the eyebrows spreading and separating, the area around the eyes releasing, your mouth, tongue, and jaw relaxing. Allow the whole of the body to feel heavy, warm, supported, surrendering back and down. Move your awareness to your breath. Observe your natural, spontaneous breath. Observe the coolness of air coming into the body and the warmth of breath leaving the body. Observe the movement of the breath in the body. Which parts of your body move as you breathe? Where do you feel that breath? When you're ready, you can begin counting your breath, counting the length of time it takes to breathe in and the length of time it takes to breathe out. And aiming for these two parts of the breath to be balanced, to be of equal length. Check that your face is softened and your shoulders and chest are relaxed. And then see if you can extend your exhalation by one count. For example, breathing in for 3 and out for 4. If you feel breathless, or if it feels like a strain at any time, just relaxing back into a spontaneous breath. If you can, breathing in for 3 and out for 4. Softening the face and the shoulders. If this feels very comfortable, you might extend your exhalation by one more count. For example, breathing in for 3 and out for 5. Don't try extending your inhaled breath. Keep that the same. Soft and gentle breathing. Face relaxed, shoulders relaxed. If this breath feels comfortable, You might add one more count to your exhaled breath, breathing in for 3 and out for 6. You might prefer one of the other ratios or simply allowing your breath to fall in its natural rhythm. Breathing softly without strain, relaxing your face and shoulders. At the end of your next exhalation, just allowing your breath to fall into a natural rhythm. And simply allow the body to soften a little deeper with every exhalation. Gently deepen your breath and bring your awareness back into your hands and your feet, moving your fingers, your toes, maybe rolling wrists and ankles a few times. When you feel ready, taking a long deep breath in, stretching the body, maybe stretching the base of the yawn, maybe stretching through the arms and the legs or the sides of the body, whatever feels good. When you're ready, you can gather yourself back to center and then simply resting your hands over your heart. Take this moment to gently bow your chin towards your chest. And with a soft smile, safe in the knowledge that you've really wriggled through the whole body, set yourself up with a wonderful sense of space and energy for the rest of the week, some strength as well. When you're ready, you can gently raise your head and open your eyes. Thank you so much for joining me in this practice. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope to see you for another one again soon. Namaste.